Observe minute silence impeccably here at the London Stadium for those that have sadly lost their lives in the flooding in Libya and the earthquake in Morocco. So the two teams are out then. West Ham in their traditional claret and blue shirts, predominantly claret these days with sky blue sleeves, claret shorts and hooped socks from the Hammers. For Manchester City, it's the first run out of the season for their away kit, which is predominantly white shirts with a maroon collar, maroon shorts and white socks as well. We are underway with West Ham left to right in the first half and Manchester City attacking away from their supporters who are down towards our right hand side. They are right to left. Ruben Diaz takes it on the chest in the centre circle. Manuel Akanji moves it out towards Kyle Walker on the right hand side. And former Premier League defender Stephen Corker alongside me. We're in the press room ahead of kick-off. The West Ham contingent certainly confident in their side, their ability and the difficulties that it would create Manchester City this afternoon, but you just can never write off Pep Guardiola's side.
No, I mean, Pep's had an impeccable record against West Ham. I think 10 games, 8 wins, 2 draws. So it's going to be a tough one for West Ham today if they're looking to get any points off City. But it's going to be an exciting game. Both teams have started the season really, really well. City
unbeaten in 15 Premier League matches against West Ham. Not one since beating City at the Etihad in September 2015 when Manuel Pellegrini was in charge. That was 2-1 that day. Victor Moses was on the score sheet for West Ham, the former Wigan and Chelsea man. Diaz to Bernardo Silva inside the centre circle. That half of the centre circle in sunshine as well. It is a very warm day in East London. Doku already on the ball, looked lively and took players on against Fulham a couple of weeks ago, and he does so now, but out towards the right hand side with Kyle Walker, who's got no one further advanced ahead of him down that right hand touchline. So back to the halfway line it goes. Manuel Akanji uses Bernardo Silva, who looks like he's going to be fluid all over the pitch this afternoon given the positions he's taken up so far. Now Walker on the right, 10 yards from the byline, out on the touchline on the far side. Back to Manuel Akanji again as City look to apply that early pressure on the Hammers goal, and Phil Foden might have found a way through here on the byline, sends it back towards Haaland, and West Ham's defence just about deal with that. Areola catches it in the end. He was looking for Erling Haaland a year ago, scored on this ground for his first Premier League goal, and inside 2 minutes nearly had his first of the afternoon.
You could see Harden there just giving Foden a round of applause. He's picked him out perfectly, and just last-ditch interception there before it reached the boot of Haaland. And when it reaches the boot of Haaland inside the 18-yard box, it normally inevitably leads to a goal. So great defending there from West Ham. You could see they've taken a sort of a standoffish approach, similar to what they did against Brighton, where they sat back. They were very, very, very good on the counter-attack, and I'm sure City will be aware of their threats going forward.
So the first of many for Erling Haaland here last season. And it's now 58 goals in 59 games in all competitions, 41 goals in 38 Premier League matches for the big Norwegian. As West Ham have it on the halfway line, far side with Naif Aguerd. Now they come forward down the left with Paquetá looking to make a nuisance of himself. Emerson takes hold of the ball. Level with the corner of the penalty area on the far side, right on the touchline. Interchange of passes again with Paquetá, who was rumoured and linked with City in the summer. There are some off-field issues yet to be settled that might have distracted the Blues a little bit from signing him, and hence the purchase of Mathis Nunes, who again is on the bench for Manchester City this afternoon. Vardiol just knock it back to Ruben Diaz, and City will reset themselves. 3.5 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, City, as expected, just keeping lots of possession in the ball as they do week in, week out. West Ham right now pressing a little higher than they first started in a couple of minutes. But as you can see, City just so good under pressure. There's no team for me in the world that can go away from home week in, week out and play this style of football under immense pressure and under a very vocal West Ham crowd.
Yeah, very loud, vociferous crowd here at the London Stadium. Always has been. Here's Haaland, who will poke it on through for Foden. Should be enough on that from Vladimir Sofal. There is. It's behind for a corner on the near side, but instead of Foden linking Haaland, it was Haaland linking Foden on this occasion.
Yeah, as we spoke pre-match, Foden is stepping into the role of De Bruyne over the next 4 months, and I think he's more than capable of doing so. They're different players. They obviously take up a similar role, but both very, very talented. And Foden there just showing bright sparks.
Foden Alvarez over this corner on the near side, City's left. Referee wants the ball re-spotted, so it'll either be the left of Foden or the right of Alvarez. Well, Alvarez has run away from the ball, so Foden, left-footed, out-swinging delivery is a deep one, headed away at the back post by Edson Alvarez of West Ham. Comes midway inside the West Ham half. Walker and Bernardo link up again. It's a battle of two former Bury coaching staff this afternoon in the Championship. The first goal of the 3 o'clock kickoffs has gone in. Ryan Lowe and his Preston side lead Stephen Schumacher and his Plymouth side 1-0 at Deepdale. Out towards the left, City come. Doku draws level with the penalty area, now towards the byline. Couple of West Ham players over, and one of them is Jared Bowen. He lays it back, it'll run past Rodri, who recovers it well out to the right of the penalty area for Walker. He stops the ball dead instead of swinging it dangerously low into the penalty area. Vardiol, lovely shuffle of the feet there from Vardiol. He loses the ball, but it runs to Doku, and City still have possession.
See, you can't really have West Ham just pinned in. I think West Ham are comfortable there. As I mentioned earlier, the game against Brighton, they did sit back and sort of welcome that pressure.
It's a game they won 3-1. Doku on the left. It's 0-0 as City look to break the deadlock, and Zuma heads behind. Another Manchester City corner. The pressure is coming thick and fast from Manchester City. 6 minutes played on the clock, still goalless.
See, you're just so good going forward. Doku there looks so sharp in the ball every time he gets it. He's so direct. I love that from a winger when you're watching him. Every time he gets the ball, he's running at you. It's a nightmare for a defender.
Two arms raised in the air from Phil Foden on this near side. Another floated delivery, left-footed to the back post. Powerful header, saved by Areola. It was Rodri who got onto it. He'll now volley it into a crowd of players. Second time, third time, Haaland off the line. And Diaz sees his header parried over by Areola. Well, that was 1, 2, 3, 4 chances for Manchester City, but they couldn't find a way past West Ham. Rodri twice, maybe even 3 times. Haaland and Diaz involved too, goodness me.
How did that stay out? Honestly, I thought the first time it was going in from Rodri, the second, the third, then it was Haaland, then I can't even see, it was the fourth one. Unbelievable. What a save at the end.
Plenty of blocks going in there from West Ham. Still waiting for this corner on the far side, the right, which is now swung in by Foden. It might come to Doku on the edge of the penalty area, headed away initially by West Ham. Haaland tried something acrobatic as the ball felt in, but West Ham still can't clear it. And Vardiol says he was tripped on the edge of the penalty area. The referee has given Manchester City a throw-in on the far side. We've played 7 minutes. West Ham United 0, Manchester City 0 on Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester. We'll go around our ground shortly, see how the rest of our local 3 o'clock kickoffs have started, including Manchester United at Brighton, but we'll let City take this throw in, and for now keep this pressure on West Ham. Here's Diaz midway inside the Hammers half, centrally, floats it out to the right. It'll go over Walker's head, go behind for a goal kick to West Ham, and that's our first opportunity to go to Old Trafford then, with all eyes on Manchester United on and off the field. They take on Brighton this afternoon, and here's Robin Gray.
Yeah, and they've started well, Mike. They've started like they've got a point to prove. Marcus Rashford with a tricky run down the left, drawing a save from the boot from Jason Steele. Before that, Sergio Reguilon already becoming a fan's favourite here with some good runs down the left and some strong tackles as well. Nothing on the scoreline yet, though. Manchester United 0, Brighton 0.
West Ham take the goal kick, give it straight back to Manchester City. Let's see how Bolton have started away at Reading this afternoon. Jack Dearden.
Not very well is the answer to that, Mike Minay. One shot just wide of the Wanderers upright, fired in by Charlie Savage, some of Robbie, and it's Reading who've made the better start of the two. It remains 0-0.
Bernardo Silva out towards the left-hand side. Here's Doku just outside the penalty area. 2 West Ham players instantly over towards him, but that creates space for Joško Vardiol, who sends a clipped cross in that deflects off Jared Bowen, and Doku can bring it down out of the sky. Tripped by Sofal. It is a Manchester City free kick on this near side. So we've heard about Reading Bolton. Reading replaced Wigan in the relegation zone this week, courtesy of a points deduction. How have the Latics started at home to Cambridge? Gaz Drinkwater.
They've grown into this one, Mike. Huge chance for Charlie Wyke, 1-on-1 with Will Mannion in the Cambridge United goal, coming from the left-hand side. Went for the low one in the right-hand corner and just hit the post in the end. Massive chance for Wigan, but it remains 0-0.
To MK Dons in a moment, where Stockport are the visitors, as Doku shuffles well into the penalty area. His pass through to Haaland is blocked. It fell back to the new signing of Manchester City, but he couldn't take advantage, and it's into the centre circle. City will come again.
He's so sharp, Mike. The 3-4 times he's got the ball, he's just frightening. Looks so quick. As I said, very, very direct and loves to get at the defenders. So he's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, different a little bit perhaps to what City have had in the last couple of seasons with a winger that actually takes on defenders. Usually with Manchester City, the likes of Mahrez and Grealish like to cut inside, but Doku looking bright. We played nearly 10 minutes 0-0. Here is Alvarez on the left hand side. Foden stands and waits for the ball in the D that never comes to him. Vardiol just knocks it to his right hand side for Manuel Akanji. And here's Rodri again. Akanji once more on international duty with Switzerland during the recent international break. Foden's committed a foul. Off to Stadium MK we go then. Stockport at MK Dons. Alex Whittington.
8 minutes gone here, Mike. Goalless. Mo Easter, the MK Dons forward, just fizzing. A dangerous free kick wide of Ben Hinchlife's goal for the home side. And Tanto Alafi breaking through after dispossessing the Dons in the middle of the park. Couldn't quite find his partner, Louis Barry. It's 0-0.
Thanks, Alex. As West Ham try and force the issue over the halfway line with James Ward-Prowse, one of their big money summer signings. £30 million from Southampton in the summer. West Ham on the halfway line. Paquetá forward, but Walker reads that well. Still sharp of mind, at least at 33 years old. His new contract takes him to the age of 36. Bernardo Silva with the back heel to Walker. Didn't quite work out on that occasion. Walker had already run past the ball. Bernardo's tracker a little bit off there. West Ham have it on the touchline on the far side and win a throw-in. Stephen Colker.
Yeah, I think West Ham have set up as expected. They're sitting deep in their own half. They're welcoming the pressure from Man City. It's a dangerous tactic. If you ask me, you've seen City break down teams in tighter spaces than this. But one thing that West Ham do offer and offer it very strongly is counter-attack.
2 goals gone in League 2 to tell you about. Only the 6th goal of the season, but they can go top this afternoon. Gillingham, they lead 1-0 over Morecambe as West Ham come forward with Sofal. Infield from him towards Jared Bowen on the right-hand side. Forcing the issue is Souček. Sofal continues his run. Vardiol is able to deal with it. The offside flag goes up anyway. The other goal to tell you about, Swindon 1, Walsall 0. Possible, I think, maybe former teammate of yours, Charlie Austin, with the goal for Swindon this afternoon.
That's my old teammate, yeah. He's always on the score sheet. Played him at QPR, top player, top guy, top guy. And that season at QPR in the Premier League, he was phenomenal.
And he's certainly knocking him in for Swindon these days. Here's Vardiol, left-hand side, over towards the touchline on this near side of the London Stadium. And the sun's just hiding behind a little bit of thin, wispy cloud for now. It is Rodri to Bernardo Silva. And then out towards the far side, the right for Kyle Walker, who will square up against the former Chelsea man in Emerson. Wants to take him on. He's also joined there by Edson Alvarez. Both the Alvarez's wearing 19 this afternoon. West Ham's Edson Alvarez and Manchester City's Julian Alvarez. It is Edson Alvarez that wins the free kick against Kyle Walker. And West Ham have a free kick. 0-0. We've played 12 minutes this afternoon. Earlier today, Liverpool top for now with a 3-1 win at Wolves. They were 1-0 down in that game. And he came back to win. 2 late goals in that game to seal the 3 points for Jurgen Klopp's side. I think he might be a little bit happier about the lunchtime kickoff now, despite his moans in the press conference earlier this week. Throwing forward by West Ham, headed back towards their penalty area. Away to our left-hand side by Ruben Diaz. Alvarez of Manchester City will bring it down. Vardiol back into his own half, and Ruben Diaz is there once again just to provide that little bit of reassurance. Rodri, first-time touches to send it to his right-hand side for Manuel Akanji. Still goalless here, still goalless in all our local games this afternoon, which includes Manchester United against Brighton. Big fixture, that one, for Erik ten Hag's side. As it's poked out by Vardiol to the left-hand side, intercepted before he gets to Doku by Sofal. He'll now get it into the centre circle for Antonio. Wanted to turn out to the left-hand side, and Bernardo Silva's read that well. It will not manage to find James Ward-Prowse. And here's Alvarez coming forward down the middle. Doku onto the left-hand side by Phil Foden. Rodri. Bernardo again. This is all happening 30 yards or so from the West Ham penalty area. Doku Goes level with the left corner of the penalty area. Again, wants to square up against so far. Lays it in field. Lovely little run from Vardiol, who sweeps it across. Haaland's there. And from 2 yards out, on a tight angle, has sent it wide. A collector's item, to use the cliche phrase. Inside the 6-yard box. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Erling Haaland misses. And there's your headline, 0-0.
I was expecting him to score that. It just came at him so quickly, didn't it? So quickly. Again, great play by Doku down the left-hand side for City. Whipped across. He's got to score. Just watching out on the replay there, he's got to score.
Poor from Erling Haaland. Not often you get a chance to say that. Scored twice on this ground last year. 5 braces he scored in the Premier League. One of them was here. He scored 7 hat-tricks, but never one away from home. He won't get a better chance to start himself off than that. Here is Bowen on the right-hand side. Doku back defending. It comes off. Jeremy Doku last, and West Ham have their first corner of the game, quarter of an hour in, 0-0.
You could just see how quickly Man City recover. As soon as they lose that ball and West Ham look to break, you've got 5-6 players sprinting back all around them. You know, the fans are up on their feet. West Ham have a corner. They're a side that's very dangerous from set pieces, and especially with the new addition of James Ward-Prowse whipping them in.
So corner to West Ham is on the near side, the right. Quickly, Morecambe have equalised against Gillingham. Oxford lead at Fleetwood, and Wickham have the lead at home to Blackpool. That's to keep you up to date with all the 3 o'clock kickoffs here on Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester. So Jared Bowen or James Ward-Prowse are the 2 men over this free kick. Again, the ball has to be reset. The linesman not fully convinced. Something's right with that corner. He's having a strong word with James Ward-Prowse, which is angering the West Ham fans down in that corner. It will be actually Jared Bowen to take. Whips it in near post. It's flicked on almost as it reaches the near post, I think by Agard, and somehow at the back post no one in a West Ham shirt can send it home. If you thought Haaland's was close, Stephen Colker, that too is not far away for the Hammers.
Really clever set piece, as we spoke about there. They're a real danger from set pieces. Just whipped in, inside, in swinging ball, flicked on, across the 6-yard box, and he's just missed, hasn't he? He's just come off, skimmed off his head. He just needed a little bit more contact on that, and it would have been 1-0 West Ham.
There's a ball whipped into the near post. Souček flicked it backwards with his header. That sent it past Ederson. And again at the back post, nearly gave West Ham the lead. 0-0 as it is, though, in the Premier League this Saturday afternoon. A string of 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs for Manchester City, which is rather rare to say. Same again next week when they take on Nottingham Forest, and the week after that when they take on Wolves. Then they've got an issue of a Sunday game at the Emirates Stadium to take on Arsenal. Free kick to Manchester City, midway inside their own half, out on the far right-hand touchline. Kyle Walker fouled. And that will give West Ham a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as we mentioned before, I mean, they're looking for the counter-attack. They're always strong from set pieces. That would be their, I would imagine, the 2 ways that they're looking to break down City. City obviously have most of the ball. Rodri again, he doesn't lose the ball. I watched him last season at Goodison Park. It took him 67 minutes, I believe it was, till he misplaced the pass. He's just so keen. You see him there demanding the ball, getting on it, and just making City tick.
He had the most passes of anyone in the Premier League last season, Rodri. Admittedly, a lot of them are side to side, but they're effective as Doku goes for goal, right-footed, in from the left. Bent it round a couple of West Ham players, but Areola saw that all the way and clutches it close to his chest.
Again, you know, Doku looking bright, looking sharp. They keep feeding him down the left side. They're choosing to come down the left side more. I'm not sure if that was something planned or just based on this first opening 18 minutes of speed and agility taking players on, and they're getting a lot of joy down that side. I mean, Haaland, I'm waiting to see a reaction from him. You usually do. He's missed 1 or 2 before, and he ends up scoring 3 later on, so it's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, don't write him off just yet. David Moyes stands on the edge of his technical area, hands on hips. They're only allowed one coach in the technical area at any one time now, the new rules. What that means, though, for David Moyes, he's out there all on his own, and it's a long way to the dugout to get any advice. Arms folded. Pep Guardiola, following his back operation, I don't know whether he's been told to rest it as much as possible. He's still sat down in his technical area alongside the man who led the team over the last couple of games, Juanma Leo. This is Rodri just outside the centre circle to the left of it. Chips it over. Manchester City in their white away shirts are right to left in this first half. First goal locally for our sides has happened at Stadium MK. Alex Whittington.
How many times have we said this season, Mike? Louis Barry finishes it into the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. Lovely work from the Villaloni. Cut inside the right hand of the box. Took his time, had a moment and curled it beautifully. Couldn't have put it anywhere else other than the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. It's his 5th goal in 5 games, and it means it's MK Dons 0, Stockport County 1.
Right start for Stockport. Big win last time out against AFC Wimbledon. Stephen Corker was there for that one. They now lead at MK Dons. We'll be to Reading in a moment, where there's been a stoppage in play. For now, Manchester City just building on the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Here's Bernardo Silva. Alvarez will take over. Rodri centrally for now, out towards the right-hand side. Just being patient as they build forward. Now Foden on the turn. Low shot wide of the right-hand post, and a goal for Robin Gray at Old Trafford.
And it's Danny Welbeck against his former club for Brighton and Hove Albion, Mike. Great play down the right from the visitors. Adam Lallana playing it through to Andringra, who crossed it in. Welbeck was there to tap it past Onana. Very much against the run of play. United been the better side, but it's Brighton who lead at Old Trafford by a goal to 0.
Raises a few eyebrows maybe, but also in the respect that maybe some predicted that. Thank you, Robin. We'll be to Reading in a moment. City here through Foden's shot that went wide of the right-hand post have got a corner, which is an outswinging delivery. Heard the thump of the boot on ball as it bounces around in the penalty area. Diaz with the initial header. West Ham struggle to clear. Back it goes to Bernardo Silva. Edison was also an option there for Kyle Walker, but he chose not to use it. Foden will drift it out towards the left-hand side. Here is Doku again up against Sofal. He's going to love that battle this afternoon. Doku low into the penalty area. Comes back out to the corner of the box for Vardiol. Rodri. Space on the right now for Bernardo Silva, but he hasn't got anyone further in the touchline. Swings it in. Glancing header from Ruben Diaz into the hands of Julian Alvarez. So let's go to the selectleasing.com stadiums and see what's happening there. Jack Dearden did mention possible protests against the owner. Reading against Bolton. Phil Brown's alongside Jack Dearden now.
Well, we've just restarted, Mike, actually, but we were stopped for the better part of 5 minutes, and lots of tennis balls being thrown onto the pitch. Here come Bolton Wanderers in the penalty area, and he's smashed into the bottom corner. What a recovery. Dion Charles, the leading scorer, absolutely pounded into the back of the Reading net. The tennis balls have been cleared. Bolton have taken the lead, Phil Brown, and they're in front at Reading by 1-0.
Well, you talk about kicking a man when he's down. Reading have just decided to bring a little bit of a demonstration on themselves, and it killed their opportunity. I'm telling you, the first 15 minutes, not one-way traffic, Jack, but you can tell Reading players were bang at it. And one ball over the top within seconds of the restart. Dion Charles has muscled the centre-half out of the way, got it on his favourite right foot, and buried it in the bottom corner. 1-0 Bolton.
After 20 minutes, Wanderers 1 up at Reading.
West Ham corner goes into the penalty area. Came off a deflected cross from Michail Antonio. Bowen's trying to win it back as it's headed out towards this near side. Walker has it right by the corner flag. He's pushing the corner flag to try and create a little bit of space, and then Bowen goes down. Nothing given by the referee, and City clear it away. So Bolton lead after tennis balls were thrown on the pitch at Reading. Game set match maybe, Wanderers this afternoon in Berkshire. It is on the halfway line for Manchester City, who have a throw in. Pep Guardiola's picked up the ball here. And he's not giving it to Joško Vardiol till he's issued his instructions on the near side. So here, West Ham 0, Manchester City 0. Just gone past the midway point of the first half. Stephen Corker, what have you made of it?
It's been close. I mean, City, as expected, have a lot of the ball. They've been dominating. They've had, I'd say, 2 or 3 chances. They're using Doku really, really well down this left-hand side. But West Ham still carry that threat. We've seen 2 balls whipped in, one by Bowen, an in-swinger, and an in-swinger from the other side with James Ward-Prowse. They always look dangerous from set pieces. So City are going to be aware of that and going to want to take the lead sooner rather than later.
Here is Rodri. Bernardo Silva out towards the right-hand side. Manuel Akanji. This is a scenario then Antonio gets forward if he is on his own, because he's a lone striker. As the cross comes in, it'll go over Alvarez and behind for a goal kick. If Antonio's finding himself in the final third on his own, is he going to play for a set piece, i.e. a corner, rather than try and do the striker's instinct, which is going to go for goal, because he knows what West Ham's threat is?
I think he'll always try to score. I mean, I'd be disappointed if I saw him in the box turn around and look for a corner. Look, a striker, as a striker, you need to be confident. He's certainly a competent man, and rightly so. He carries a big threat. He's a big physical presence as well, hard to deal with. So, you just see there City leaving almost 1-against-1 at the back. And I say at the back, I mean, it's inside West Ham's half, but they're the last two men. It's Diaz and Antonio. So, and there you see him now with an unbelievable turn. Akanji does well to recover.
Yeah, he got the better of Akanji initially, Antonio. He's been forced out wide, but here he is. Will he go for goal or will he look for the set piece? He can do neither. And Manchester City have dealt with it and quickly want to get on the counter-attack. Here is Haaland out towards the left-hand side. Alvarez has got to sprint over towards the near-side touchline on the halfway line to keep it in play. That in turn has allowed West Ham to get back, and Manchester City just to slow it up initially. What's happening elsewhere? QPR leads Sunderland. This is what you've missed. Huddersfield leading Rotherham. Peterborough ahead against Leyton Orient. Barnsley leading Burton in League One. Carlisle ahead against Lincoln City. Swindon now 2 up on Walsall. Wrexham leading Grimsby. Gillingham back in front against Morecambe 2-1. Crawley behind against Tranmere. So you're up to date on BBC Radio Manchester with all the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and you've also heard what happened at Manchester United, where Brighton lead, and Reading, where Bolton are in front. We'll go to Wigan in a moment. Stockport leading 2. We heard that through Alex Whittington and Louis Barry. Here is Doku towards the byline left-hand side. Wins Manchester City a corner. Quickly then to the DW Stadium. Wigan, Cambridge. Gaz Drinkwater.
Another huge chance for Charlie Wyke. Squandered, yards out, was outstretched to reach a ball into the 6-yard box. Did get a toe on it, but Mannion in goal did well to stop it. Then did even better to stop it deflecting back into his goal off his own defender. 0-0 with 24 minutes played.
So Phil Foden prepares to take this corner on the near side, the left, out swinging left-footed delivery that doesn't get into the box. It bends out of play before it comes in. It's a really poor corner from Phil Foden on a day when the manager praises him and all eyes are on him in that Kevin De Bruyne role. He's let himself down there somewhat.
Aside from that, he's looked sharp. I mean, it wasn't the best set piece you've ever seen, but he's looked really sharp. I liked him in that hole, in that central role that we spoke about before. When he got on it, he turned. He had a good shot, a slight deflection, which went out for a corner, but he has looked sharp.
Yeah, he's out on the right for now. You are right. He started in the middle for Manchester City. It looks like him and Julian Alvarez have swapped places. In fact, they've swapped again now with Foden down the middle. Here's Rodri to Phil Foden, who will turn infield to use Alvarez. Haaland's made his run. Zuma manages to get in the way and get to the ball before Erling Haaland has a chance to run through on Alphonse Areola's goal. Here's Doku on the left-hand side. He's looked bright too. In fact, he's sized down there by 2 West Ham players. One of them being Sofal, the other being Paquetá, and Manchester City have a free kick on this near side. Doku looks a real handful.
He really does, and City are using him a lot. They're aware that he seems to have the beating of Sofal right now, and he's getting it, and he's taking him on time and time again.
Here's Foden. I'll ask you more about that in a minute. Let's see what happens here for Manchester City. Ball will spin away to the left-hand side. Vardiol left it for Doku to chase instead. Quick 1-2 between Vardiol and Alvarez, who had come back from the edge of the penalty area. Haaland's in the box here. Can he get the shot away? He can, but hits it against the boot of Zuma, and it bounces out of the penalty area. Here is Rodri. City building again, 30 yards out. He closes in on the penalty area. A little sidestep from him, and the shot that is straight at Areola. Let's go to Stadium MK. Another goal for Alex Whittington.
And it's the home side who've got the equaliser, Mike. A corner that was taken short eventually found its way to the back post. It was headed across and it was flicked into the roof of the net by Mo Issa, who's grabbed his 5th goal of the season, and it draws the Dons level. It's MK Dons 1, Stockport County 1.
Manchester City have it in their final third. Thanks, Alex. Vardiol with a little back heel. Unsuccessfully. We're approaching the half-hour mark. He then has to send the ball out for a throw-in on the far side.
Well, Phil Foden there again, using the space in the middle. I'm not sure what space he finds, because West Ham are so tight and compact, but he finds those little pockets of space, turns, feeds in Haaland, and again, another sign of what City are trying to do. But West Ham's defence is so tight and compact. They've got the midfield sitting deep as well. It's really, really hard for City to break them down.
Might be one of those typical long away afternoons for Manchester City. Patience required. 0-0 after 29 minutes. Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester. You can tweet us your views at BBC RM Sport if you want to have your say. on this first half. Here is Edson Alvarez of West Ham. Uses Sofal on this near side. City now applying their own little press on Paquetá, who will turn well actually against Alvarez, get it to the halfway line. Bowen down the right hand side, fakes one little pass that has Doku skipping in the air. Bowen into the penalty area, puts it right into the mixer, almost on the penalty spot on a plate, looking for James Ward-Prowse or even Antonio at the rear of the box, but neither in a claret shirt could get there first, and City can clear it.
Do you know what the most impressive thing about Man City for me is? Their reaction. For any young player, you know, you can get distracted by the goals of Haaland or the skills of Foden and the speed of Doku, but for me it's their reaction. Every single time they lose the ball, there's 5, 6, 7 players bang straight back in. They're there, they're winning the ball back, they play as a team. You know, Pep's got that, he's instilled that in them from the minute he's been there, and it's similar to Klopp at Liverpool. Their reaction is so important. I'm just sat here going, every time West Ham win the ball back, they're around them, and they just give the teams no time to find rhythm. So impressive.
And Rochdale did lead in the National League. A couple of minutes later, Barnet have equalised. Rochdale 1, Barnet 1. Stephen Coulter, the former Premier League defender, alongside myself, Mike Maine, here at the London Stadium this afternoon, as Manchester City once again recover the ball as West Ham send it forward. Foul on Antonio is what West Ham fans want. Midway inside the City half. Head injury means players got to be stopped there, and it allows Diaz to have a little bit of recovery then. I think nothing more than a clash of heads.
Yeah, just again talking about the physical presence of Antonio. He's a difficult one to get round, and you know, Diaz there has used his strength and sort of come through the back a little bit. I think they've clashed heads, but I like to see that from a centre half. You know, obviously unbelievably talented centre half on the ball, but also off the ball as a real physical presence, and he's just shown that there.
Defenders Union out in force there. Stephen Coulter praising
Always.
Ruben Diaz. Both are okay. Diaz did win the ball. He kind of went over Antonio to win it, not jumping over the back of him, but just maybe in terms of height, as Antonio was stooping a little bit, but then on the follow through they clashed heads. We've played 32 minutes 0-0. Whilst we've got this little break in play, let's go to Old Trafford. United behind against Brighton. What's the response been, Robin Gray?
Not a very big one, Mike, to be honest with you. Brighton just doing what they do, controlling possession. United's best chance since the goal from Danny Welbeck. Marcus Rashford, a shot which was heading for the back of the net, blocked though from a Delot pullback. United gone with 2 up top and a diamond, but at the moment no sign of response. Still Manchester United 0, Brighton 1.
Robin, thank you. Haaland back to goal, sends it to Rodri. It's flicked out towards the right hand side. Lovely ball towards Kyle Walker, whose early deliveries headed away, only as far as Rodri again. So Manchester City with the possession, still goalless, but coming forward. Rodri tries a little step over up against James Ward-Prowse. Now Vardiol back to the edge of the centre circle for Ruben Diaz, who looks left but sends the ball right. Rodri, Walker in the sunshine on the far side of the huge bowl arena that is the London Stadium. Ball in field from Bernardo is poor. A couple of them that he's not quite got right this afternoon, the Portuguese midfielder. And West Ham can come forward now with Jared Bowen on the right hand side. He is bright this season, Bowen. 3 goals in 4 games this season, although all of them have come away from the London Stadium. It's on the halfway line with Thomas Souček. There is Alvarez. This is Paquetá, and it's now out towards the far side for West Ham, and again on the ball as they work it across their back line.
As you see there for West Ham, Alvarez is in possession, dropping in as a sort of middle of the back 3 for West Ham, and then out of possession he's also dropping in to defend almost as a back 5 when City have possession deep in West Ham's own half. So they're definitely using Alvarez, as our information was given before the game, how much he will step in and help West Ham defensively, and he's doing a really good job. He's impressed me so far.
Aston Villa lead at Crystal Palace at Villa Park in the Premier League, another 3 o'clock kickoff. No Roy Hodgson on the touchline for Crystal Palace this afternoon. He was taken ill. So his assistant Paddy McCarthy in charge there. There's been a goal in the National League. Bromley leading Oldham by a 0-0. More problems for a very much under pressure David Unsworth in the National League. Here's Zuma inside his own penalty area for West Ham. He's still goalless here against Manchester City on Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester. Sofal is allowed to wander up towards the halfway line. Here is Paquetá. Out towards the left-hand side for Emerson, and now Paquetá will scoop it over the top. Diaz has got to be clever, reads that well. If he'd got that wrong, Mikel Antonio would have been through.
Yeah, really smart defending there again by Diaz. He's read that really well as his first-time ball. Unexpected, actually. Unexpected. I wasn't expecting it, so lucky it's Diaz down there, not me. It's a first-time ball round the corner, looking for Antonio, and Diaz does well to read the situation and cut out the danger.
Colchester 1 up against Mansfield in League 2. Blackburn leading Middlesbrough. Under pressure, Michael Carrick in the Championship by a goal to 0. Wrexham 2 up on Grimsby. Wimbledon have just scored against Crewe. They lead 1-0 in League 2. You're up to date as West Ham come forward. Here's a chance for James Ward-Prowse. Low shot deflects and probably helps out Ederson, who'd committed down to the bottom right-hand corner of the goal as we look at it. I think Ward-Prowse wanted a bit more leftwards purchase on it, but it's a save and a shot on target for West Ham United, but still a clean sheet for Ederson.
Again, good defending there by Diaz. He just gets enough to take the sting out of the ball, and it's a fairly easy save for Ederson down to his left. But West Ham looking a lot more dangerous these last few minutes. They seem to be growing in confidence.
Lovely flick round the corner from Bowen on the reverse pass. He sets Sofal through on the right-hand side. Ward-Prowse wants to make himself available. Lovely ball in. Lovely goal from West Ham United. And James Ward-Prowse scores again for the Hammers. Diving header into the bottom right-hand corner. There was a warning sign a moment ago. Sofal's delivery in, whipped in round the corner from the West Ham right back. Ward-Prowse diving, and he sends the West Ham fans wild. 10 minutes to half-time. They lead Manchester City by a goal to 0.
I don't think I've seen many James Ward-Prowse goals with his head, but he's taken that really, really well. As I just mentioned, West Ham have a good little spell for the last few minutes. They've done good little play down the right-hand side. Great ball in there by, how was that? And unbelievable finish there by James Ward-Prowse with a diving header.
He scored in the 3-1 win at Brighton for his 50th league goal. That's goal number 51. It's his 9th goal involvement in his last 8 games. He's a man in form both for Southampton, and the reason therefore that West Ham signed him. But the space he was allowed, Walker couldn't keep tabs on him. The 2 central defenders were occupied elsewhere, and Ward-Prowse was able to get in on the far side of the box in that diving header.
From the City's perspective, really poor. Walker seems to be too high up the pitch there, and James Ward-Prowse is free to make the header. Once the ball passes over the head of Akanji, you've got James Ward-Prowse there with an acres of space. So from the City's perspective, not great defending. It's the risk they play when they play so open. We mentioned that West Ham will attack at speed, and they did so there and have punished City.
City want an instant reply. Alvarez has gone for the shot, which deflects and actually loses all pace, direction, and is an easy one for Alphonse Areola. West Ham are looking to win 4 Premier League games in a row for the first time since 2002. 21 years since they did that, but they've given themselves the best possible chance. They lead Manchester City 1-0 here in East London, a City side that don't often get much joy in the capital, but having said that, they haven't lost successive trips to London since June 2020 when they lost against Spurs and Chelsea. Previous defeat in London was against Brentford on the final day of last season. They're now behind against West Ham. They have a free kick here, central position 30 yards out. Yellow card has been issued as well to Zuma, I think. The City now know they have 7 first half minutes to get level before the break.
Just mentioning there, James Ward-Prowse, as you said, 4 goals, 5 assists in his last 8 games. What a signing! What an unbelievable signing! He's sitting here today. He's a steal. You know, he's come into the West Ham side and just settled in so well. He's a player, as you mentioned, a man in form. And you know, I played with him many years ago during his time at Southampton, and you know, his professionalism was outstanding. He's someone who'd stay behind every single day, working on the set pieces, working on his delivery. And you know, as an ex-teammate, it's nice to sit here and watch someone's hard work pay off.
Free kick here to Manchester City, who might want James Ward-Prowse behind this, but they don't have him in their side. So Bernardo Silva is going to have to come up with something here. It's 35 yards from Areola's goal, very central. So it's what he chooses to do with it. He clips it on his left foot just out to the right-hand side for Alvarez, who tries to cross it in, slips as he does so, and it's blocked before it even reaches the penalty area. Now he's got another chance to send it in which he does deep, headed away by Edson Alvarez of West Ham. We'll go round our grounds in a minute as City chase an equaliser here. They're 1-0 down against the Hammers, who themselves could go top this afternoon and leapfrog Manchester City. They've won a free kick in the corner. Let's go round our grounds slowly then. United against Brighton is our first port of call at Old Trafford and Robin Gray.
And the home fans getting very tetchy, Mike, because they just cannot get the ball off this Brighton side, who lead by a goal to nil. Danny Welbeck against his former club inside the first 20 minutes. A sign of a response a few moments ago. Marcus Rashford with a run down the right, hitting the post. And Brighton on the attack here, but it's cleared up by Sergio Reguilon. 5 minutes to go until the break. It's 1-0 to Brighton.
Just a word of warning, we're going to go to Reading, and then after that I'll give you the results for the qualifying of the Singapore Grand Prix. So Reading, Bolton, Phil Brown's alongside Jack Dearden, but hold that one because here Bowen comes forward on the right-hand side. Left-footed cross, blocked once by the City defence, comes back to Bowen on the right for West Ham, and that should be dealt with on this occasion. The cross is blocked, and Haaland has it midway inside his own half. He gives away the ball. West Ham turn into their own territory. Before we go to Reading, though, we're back to Old Trafford. Another goal, Robin Gray.
Welcome to Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund on his first start for the club. Rashford, who's been so dangerous down the left, pulled it back. He just took a bit of time to juggle the ball between his feet, and on the edge of the 6-yard box, pokes it into the goalkeeper's left-hand corner. Højlund on the score sheet. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1.
Thanks, Robin. The Dane says hello to Old Trafford, and plenty of Højlund shirts on display now that they've managed to sort the lettering out in the mega store as well, I believe. Here's Ward-Prowse, West Ham's goal scorer, on the halfway line. To Reading we go then. Bolton the visitors, Phil Brown and Jack Dearden.
Wanderers still leading by a goal to nil. Dion Charles with his 6th of the season. They picked up 3 yellow cards. Santos, Tall and Williams. There's been end-to-end stoppage on 17 minutes in to inspire Bolton. Are they worth the value for the lead they've got, Phil Brown? Or should they have wrapped it up already?
Jack, it's an unbelievable game. It is end-to-end stuff, and Adebayo should have made it 2-0. It should have been game over. And most of the fans here, they've come to demonstrate. They've said their point. They've made their point. They should have left by half-time at 2-0. The other end, they've hit the crossbars. He's cuts inside left foot, bends into the top corner. Could have been 1-1.
1-0 it is to Bolton.
Or 1-0, given the tennis incident earlier. Jack Dearden, thank you very much. Watching on at Reading Bolton this afternoon. More from Phil Brown at half-time as well. Here come Manchester City. Then we'll check in on Wigan. First of all, Phil Foden, edge of the penalty area. City looking for a reply. Rodri clips it out to the left corner of the penalty area now with Doku, who wants to twist and turn, and he does. Gets to the byline, puts it right across. Haaland's in there, and it's off the line by again. Haaland again from the near angle on the right-hand side inside the 6-yard box. Cannot find a way through, but City's biggest chance maybe for an equaliser so far. They come again with Foden and Rodri just outside the box. Rodri, we know he can hit them from there. Chooses not to on this occasion. Will have to reset himself. We're going back to Old Trafford and Robin Gray.
Yeah, Manchester United's equaliser has been ruled out, Mike, and rightly so. VAR had a look at it. Rashford had taken the ball out of play on that left-hand side. Goal kick to Brighton, and no fantastic start for Rasmus Højlund yet. They're behind to Brighton by a goal to nil.
Robin, thank you. Robin will take you through half-time live from Old Trafford. We're 2.5 minutes out from the end of the first 45 here at the London Stadium. Manchester City trailing West Ham by a goal to nil, but they have a corner on the far side. The Blues, what can they do with it? Needs to be a better one from Foden. It is into the penalty area, but away. Doku will send it into the box from a central position just outside the D. And West Ham still can't clear their lines as Paquetá and Alvarez square up to each other. Good cross from Alvarez. Oh, Diaz was ready to turn on the volley and couldn't. Walker is first to the loose ball that bounds halfway inside the West Ham half, back towards the halfway line for Vardiol. Here is Rodri looking goalwards for Manchester City. Drives a low shot, and Alfonso Areola, I thought might have got a touch on that as it was heading for the bottom left-hand corner. Referee says no. Goal kick to West Ham. So to the DW Stadium we go. Wigan, Cambridge, Gaz Drinkwater.
Wigan certainly the team on top in this one. How neither of those gilt-edged Charlie White chances didn't find the back of the Cambridge United net earlier in the half, I will never know. But Wigan certainly the better team. Just no goals to show for it yet. 3 minutes until half-time. It's 0-0.
Stevenage lead Charlton 1-0. Forest Green Rovers behind against Doncaster, bottom side Doncaster as well. That's in League 2. Leyton Orient level against Peterborough 1-1. AFC Wimbledon 2-0 up on Crewe. And Newport lead Barrow 1-0 in League 2. And that's where we're going next. MK Dons Stockport. Alex Whittington.
Where Ben Hinchliffe has just come to the rescue of Stockport. Mike saving at point blank range from MK Dons danger man Mo Issa after he was easily played through. The home side starting to tick now with 2.5 minutes left of the first half. It's 1-1.
Alex, thank you. We're about to find out how much added time here at the London Stadium in a few seconds as Manchester City still chase that equaliser. 1-0 down, courtesy of Ward-Prowse's header. Here's Bernardo Silva 10 yards outside the box. Will move in from the right, left-footed, clips it out to Doku on this near side. The West Ham fans have a chance to take a selfie with City on the attack as they head for their half-time pies and pints. Vardiol whips it in. Header is up by again. He's been very impactful at both ends this afternoon for West Ham, it has to be said. Haaland on the chest. Foden with the volley. Teed up by Haaland. That's a big deflection. It's behind for a corner on the far side. Stephen Coulker.
Just how good is Jeremy Doku? How good. Every time he's got the ball, he's taking players on. He's been certainly the standout player this opening 45 minutes. Haaland with another gilt-edge opportunity that he just can't take.
Off the line, that one by again. Corner then to City, far side. 2 minutes of added time. We're into that now. There's 3 minutes of added time at Old Trafford where Manchester United trail Brighton 1-0. Corner is an out-swinging delivery towards the back post. Areola flaps at it. Sends it behind. So we've gone from a corner on the far side, the right, to a corner on the near side, the left. And City don't want to give West Ham any chance to settle. They take it quickly. Doku goes for the near post shot after the short corner that was taken by Rodri. West Ham clear it. And it's out for a Manchester City throw on this near side.
Yeah, again, good play from Man City down his left-hand side. The referee there, he's changed his mind and given the throw-in or
foul throw
to West Ham. Foul throw. So he's giving it to West Ham, and that gives them a time to settle now, which will probably see them over the halfway line, half-time whistle, should I say. But no, City have performed well. They've performed well. They've just been lacking that final touch, which usually Haaland supplies. West Ham will obviously head into the break. They're happier, the two teams. One, because of the 1-0 lead, and secondly, because their game plan has worked to perfection, Mike.
Joško Vardiol goes in the book for a shoulder challenge on Jared Bowen, whilst Stephen was talking there right on the halfway line in front of David Moyes, the West Ham manager. So I'm sure the protest would have been heard from the referee from the Scot on the touchline. So free kick to West Ham is probably going to be the last action of the first half. The first half in which the Hammers lead. At BBC RM Sport if you want to have your say at the break. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the word Mank if you want to get your point across. And of course you can have your say at the full-time whistle on 0800 218 2255, our usual number at BBC Radio Manchester. So West Ham waste the free kick. We've had the 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half, but they are only a minimum, so the referee plays on for now, and Manchester City in the sunshine on the far side come forward down the right with Bernardo Silva. Here's Kyle Walker back to the edge of the penalty area for Julian Alvarez. City haven't got time to waste here. Alvarez needs an outlet. It's only square to Rodri. Foden will go for goal, charged down and blocked by West Ham, and the half-time whistle goes. Well, in a battle of two unbeaten sides to start the season, it is West Ham with the advantage at the break. James Ward-Prowse and his diving header 10 minutes out from half-time gives the Hammers the lead. Manchester City aren't without the possession, they aren't without the chances. Two big ones for Erling Haaland, both on the right-hand side from an angle. The first he put wide, the second was off the line. But it means at the break here at the London Stadium, it is West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0.
Mike, thank you very much. We're just seconds away from the 3 minutes being up. In fact, they are up. Here as Casemiro receives a yellow card for Manchester United at Old Trafford, who are behind to Brighton. Rasmus Højlund did think he'd equalise, but the VAR check ruled the goal out after Rashford had taken the ball out before pulling it back to him. So not the afternoon that either Manchester City or Manchester United would have wanted so far. How about Bolton? How are they getting on at Reading? Jack Dearden.
Well, we've just commenced what will be 4 minutes of added on time, Robin. Wanderers still leading by a goal to nil. Thundered in his sixth of the current campaign game for Dion Charles, and Bolton will possibly look back and regret missed opportunities so far. Both of them falling to Addy Boyejo. Both should have gone in for me, and that would have been, as Mike Miney said, game, set and match. As it is, it's Wanderers still leading 1-0.
There's been a goal at Stadium MK for Alex Whittington.
Right on the stroke of half-time, Robin. Nick Powell has nodded in his first Stockport County goal. Cross came in from Southern Hills. Powell rose to highest enough. An easy header down past McGilvery in the Dons goal. And Stockport County lead MK Dons 2-1.
And to the DW Stadium, half-time between Wigan and Cambridge. Drink water.
Half-time, 0-0 here, Robin. Two huge chances for Charlie Wyke in the first half. The first one coming in the 7th minute, one-on-one, hit the post after a lovely pass in from Asgard. The 22nd minute, another huge chance. It was from yards out for Wyke. He was outstretched to reach a ball in from Clare on the right in the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper, Mannion, did really well to get behind it, then stop the deflection going in as well. Wigan deserved to be in the lead. They're the team on top, but it's 0-0 at half-time.
Also half-time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Danny Welbeck against his former club inside the first 20 minutes from a lovely Brighton move down the right. It was very much against the run of play, though. The home side had started ferociously. They're playing with a diamond. They put Rasmus Højlund for his first start up front alongside Marcus Rashford, and it was Højlund and Rashford's combinations that were causing Brighton problems. Højlund thought he'd equalise for Manchester United 5 minutes before the break after Rashford's pull back. Saw him find the corner of the net, but Marcus Rashford had taken it just out of play, so it was ruled out after a VAR check. To the London Stadium then in our commentary, West Ham United at 1, Manchester City 0 at the break. Stephen Corker on social media, Colin Scott says we need a decent striker. I know Haaland's missed a couple, and Zach Berrington says Doku playing up there on his own. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a tongue-in-cheek comment there about Haaland. What a player he is. He seems to be a little bit tired today, if I'm honest. I'm watching him there. He's not up to his usual speed. He's not pressing at the same intensity that I've seen him press at previously. I know, obviously, off the back of international duty, it can be tiring for these players. So I don't know whether there's an element of tiredness there, but he's missed two really, really good chances that you would expect him to have scored. Jeremy Doku, as mentioned, been outstanding for me, the best player on the pitch. He's proving to be a real threat, and certainly has the beating of fullback for West Ham's Sufrel. So it'll be interesting to see what changes are made at half-time, if any. I know Pep usually likes to leave things a little late.
Also, Jordan Davis here on social media at BBCRM Sport, if you want to have your say on the first half, says West Ham are making Manchester City look silly on the counter, summed up by the opener. Just talk us through that James Ward-Prowse goal. Was there anything at fault for you from a City perspective?
I think defensively it was quite a poor goal to concede. There seemed to be a lack of communication between Walker and Akanji. I think Akanji is expecting Walker to be tucked in there, but Walker's split high and wide, as City so often do when in possession, but out of possession it's that they rely on that quick recovery run. Walker was unable to get back. Akanji's sort of covering Diaz with Antonio and leaves Ward-Prowse completely free. So again, it was the counter-attack that caused City the problems. We've mentioned that before the match that West Ham are a really good counter-attacking side. They proved that against Brighton, and they've looked a real threat in doing so today.
Half-time at the Madejski Stadium, Reading against Bolton. Jack Dearden.
It's been an eventful first half. We had a stoppage around about the 17-minute mark when tennis balls were thrown on to the pitch. That is a demonstration against the current owner of Reading, but that seemed to inspire Bolton Wanderers. They were in front within 60 seconds of the game restarting, and what a belter as well. Dion Charles, very reminiscent of Alan Shearer at his best, smashed it into the bottom corner, but they could live to regret missed opportunities, Bolton Wanderers. They've also picked up 3 yellow cards, Santos, Toll and Williams, all booked by the referee, Lee Swarby, but Wanderers in front at half-time by 1-0.
And at Stadium MK, half-time between Milton Keynes Dons and Stockport County, where it's been all about County's summer signings, Alex Whittington.
It has indeed, Robin. Yeah, Nick Powell's header right before the break means it's Stockport who lead MK Dons 2-1. Perfect time for him to get his first goal for the Hatters. Their opener came through Louis Barry, who fired it home. Sterling shot into the corner of the goal. That's 5 goals in as many games for the Aston Villa loanees. He got them the opener. The equaliser came through the MK Dons danger man, Mo Issa, who levelled 8 minutes after that. But at the break, it's Stockport County who lead MK Dons 2-1.
We'll go back to the London Stadium, and Stephen Corkery's been watching West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0 at half-time on BBC Radio Manchester. You can get that one, by the way, on BBC Sounds in the UK as well, and the BBC Sport website and app. Stephen, just wanted to touch on City, because it sounds like Areola in the West Ham goal has had a bit of a blinder for the home side. Perhaps performance-wise, the scoreline doesn't perhaps reflect how City have played.
No, City have been good. They have been good. They moved the ball well. West Ham have sat back and defended really, really deep. And City at times have struggled to break them down, but they've created opportunities. They had the double save. They had the save off the line. You've had Haaland's 2 misses, which arguably should have been goals. So City certainly haven't performed badly, but West Ham's tactic and game plan is clear for all to see. They're backing themselves to defend. They're backing their goalkeeper. They're backing their back 4, back 5 at times to defend City. And when they get the ball, they're looking to attack and attack quickly. So from a West Ham's perspective, the game plan's been played out to perfection. From a Man City perspective, it's been quite frustrating because the performance has not been bad. They've created opportunities and they just haven't been able to hit the back of the net.
Stephen, thank you. Second half commentary to come. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0 in your commentary on Total Sport on BBC Radio Manchester. Here at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Danny Welbeck against his former club. And at Reading against Bolton, Bolton lead by a goal to 0. The goal coming after a load of tennis balls thrown on the pitch, Phil Brown.
Listen, I love it when the man on the street decides to make his point, and however he does that, so long as it's not violent, of course. He's making a statement, or they are making a statement against the owner. And when you think 6 points and now 4 points deduction, 3 consecutive seasons, I mean, come on. If you're going to, afford to run a football club, get your money out and run the football club properly. If you don't run it properly, get out the way and make way for somebody else who wants to stand in the way. Whether that's the supporters or not, I don't know. But anyway, they've stood up and they've decided to demonstrate in the right way. And I'm telling you, 15, 16 minutes, whatever it was on the clock, Reading were in the ascendancy. There is no doubt in my mind. Bolton were going to have a tough day at the office. And within a minute of them tennis balls being picked up, and by the way, if you want to buy any tennis balls, I think they're going for £1 a bucket downstairs. I'm telling you, within a minute of that, the ball was turned over the top. Dion Charles, who absolutely works tirelessly with his strike partner, by the way, Adebayo. The pair of them are brilliant at what they do in terms of work rate. Anyway, the ball fell to a comfortable Dion Charles on his right foot, who buried it with an aplomb of a striker. And I think he made reference to Alan Shearer. That is some reference, by the way. But 1-0, deservedly so, because there should have been 2, there should have been 3. And it might come back to haunt them, but I think they've got enough quality, and they've certainly got the right attitude at the moment.
Yeah, are you worried about a Reading response, given the day, given the emotions there? Perhaps the mood could sway in their favour as this goes on?
Well, it doesn't seem to have affected the players in terms of the way the managers prepared them, because they came out the traps within 10 seconds. They had a corner, and the majority of that first 15, 16 minutes before the demonstration was spent in the Bolton Wanderers half. And I'm not saying it was backs to the wall kind of defending, but Bolton knew, when you go into a game of football, and Steve, he'll understand what I'm saying as a defender. You go into a game of football, you know it's going to be a good day at the office, bad day at the office, but you know you're going to have to work to get whatever you can from the game. Today was going to be one of them from the first 15, 16 minutes. They've now got themselves in the ascendancy 1-0 up, and it could have been more comfortable than that. I think the manager's going to have to work hard at half-time to get into the faces of his own players to make sure that they come out with the right mentality, the right attitude to get 3 points today.
Phil, thank you. Half-time then, Reading 0, Bolton 1. I'll remind you of the Premier League scores here as well. Earlier on, Wolves 1, Liverpool 3. in the lunchtime kickoff. The only 2 goals to tell you about the 3 o'clocks. There's one here at Old Trafford for Danny Welbeck putting Brighton 1-0 up, and James Ward-Prowse diving header for West Ham against Manchester City. West Ham 1, Manchester City 0. The other games between Villa and Palace, Fulham and Luton, and Tottenham and Sheffield United are goalless. Newcastle play Brentford at 5:30. Elsewhere in League One, aside of Reading 0, Bolton 1, it's Wigan 0, Cambridge 0. It's Milton Keynes Dons 1, Stockport 2. In the National League, it's Bromley 2, Oldham 0, Rochdale 2, Barnet 1, and Wealdstone 0, Altrincham 0. It's BBC Radio Manchester, Total Sport, and it's coming up to 4 o'clock.
Anna Jameson at breakfast.
BBC Radio Manchester. Let's do impressions.
Hi, I'm Stacey Dooley, and I'm about to go on my BBC documentary in Thailand.
AJ, that's amazing.
Who are you going to do?
Right, Vicar of Dibley, Jim Trott. Doing me.
I can't, it's like he's in the room.
Anna Jameson at breakfast.
Back on Tuesday morning from 6.
BBC Radio Manchester. Total Sport.
BBC Radio Manchester.
And the second half chronometers to come of West Ham United against Manchester City. The Hammers lead by 1-0 with Mike Maine and Steven Corker on the way. The roar of words between Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag and winger Jadon Sancho has played out publicly, with the winger now frozen out of first-team training after he criticised the boss on social media. Ten Hag told the media this week that he needs to be strict and has improved the culture at the Reds. This was debated on Friday's Total Sport.
It's good that he's come in and he's laid the law. These several examples. Look at the way he dealt with Ronaldo, the De Gea situation. I think he's got the Maguire balance right, where he's not gone in too harsh on him, but he's took him out the squad. And I think he's set an example. You look at when Marcus Rashford was in fine form last season, and he turned up late. You dropped him. You dropped him against Wolves, and he was our star player. He come on, got the winner in that game, but he sets an example that no one's above the team, and no one can get away with something that someone else would be able to.
What even is the definition then of good culture?
I think you can have an ego. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. There are plenty of big players who know their place, know the hierarchy. I think having respect and having discipline are 2 very important things when it comes to instilling good culture at a football club. Understanding that you can't speak out publicly against the manager when you disagree with something he said. That just doesn't run. It can't, not even from a football club perspective. Just that is essentially his boss. He shouldn't be publicly coming out against him.
Because of all the noise around the club, this game has already become a must-not-lose game.
Yeah, very much so. There's been that much... this international break seems to be one of the longest ever. It seems to have really dragged for me. And the trouble is, there's been a story out virtually every day, and I'm sick of all these statements. I think there's been about more United statements than we've got points this season. But,
Instead of Player of the Month, they're doing Statement of the Month, John, I think.
I love that.
It'd be good just to get back to watching football again, isn't it?
Total Sport back on Monday from 6 on BBC Radio Manchester. You'll be able to have your say on the weekend's action. So at half-time, it is West Ham United 1, Manchester City 0 at the London Stadium. Can Manchester City come back in the second period? It's the most adversity they've faced so far in the Premier League this season. To take you through the second half, it's Steven Corker and Mike Maine.
Thanks, Robin. As the players come out, or City players certainly, for the second half. Interestingly, when Steven Corker was talking at half-time about Erling Haaland and how he looks tired, he only played once during the international break. That was a Euro 2024 qualifier on Tuesday against Georgia. Norway won 2-1. Of course, Erling Haaland scored. Martin Ødegaard got the other, but it was a full 90 minutes. So whether that's just weighing in his legs a little bit, it's hard to say. Here come West Ham. I think nothing changes in the second half, Steven Corker, from either perspective. City were on top, dominant, had their chances, just didn't quite go their way. West Ham defensively astute and took their chance when they got it, and it's hard to see how anything changes now.
Certainly from a West Ham's perspective, I can't see any changes being made. Their game plan worked to perfection. From a City perspective, it's going to be interesting to see how they manage that counter-attack, because from a West Ham point of view, they're going to continue to do very much of the same.
We are underway then for the second half. City trailing by a goal to nil. Now West Ham right to left in their predominantly claret shirts with the sky blue sleeves. They've got claret shorts and hoop socks. Manchester City white shirts, maroon shorts and white socks. I was under the impression that if the shorts are closely matched, one team has to change, but they are very, very similar out there. West Ham right to left, City left to right then in this second half. They are attacking the Blues, the end of which their supporters are housed in kind of the southeast corner. Here's Doku looking bright, and Doku goes for goal, and Jeremy Doku gets his first Manchester City goal. One of the key summer signings weaves his way in from the left-hand side, and Manchester City have taken just 50 second half seconds to get themselves level. It's a bright start. Half the fans aren't even in their seats yet, but they'll be jumping for joy when they come back out. It is West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1.
I can't believe they've given him so much space. After seeing what he did first half, I cannot believe they've allowed him to go 1-against-1. What a player, what a talent. Cuts inside, such a well-taken goal. What a signing.
Comes in from the left, always almost on the outside of his right boot, and then he gets that opportunity to curl it in, just sneaks in at the post, and it's a bright start for Manchester City, the perfect start. In whatever was said at half-time, particularly from City's side, of getting that equaliser quick to give yourself more time to go and chase down a winner. Couldn't have gone any better.
Exactly that. It's so important that you do get an early goal when you come back out second half. Whatever Pep said, it clearly worked. You could see, as you mentioned, half the fans still returning to their seat now. A lot of disappointed West Ham fans returning, but from a City perspective, great to get that early goal. I don't think much will change. I think West Ham are still going to sit back deep. They're going to still be looking for that counter-attack, and and Man City are going to have to be very patient in breaking them down. But if Jeremy Doku gets space like that again, I'd expect a very similar outcome.
And Doku, who enjoyed the first half, he really wanted to take on Sofal in the first half. That's going to do his confidence the world of good. What does that do to the West Ham defence as a defender when you've got someone as tricky as Doku to play against with pace and tight ball control? What's that like?
It's really tough, especially when you can feel like you're out there alone at times. And if you just look now at his positioning, if you look there now at Vladimir Sofal's positioning, he's just dropping off him. He's low on confidence. You know, when you're high on confidence defender, you'll get touch tight, you'll get in the opposition's face. But as you see him there, he's tucking in. He's wanting support from his winger. He's wanting support from his other centre half, and West Ham have to offer that.
Now on the other side, Paquetá has to defend against Phil Foden. City with the wind in their sails. Foden from distance. The shot takes a deflection off Alvarez of West Ham. And the Blues have a corner in on this near side, the right. Manchester City with a complete air of confidence about them. And West Ham look a little shaken at the start of this second half. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. 3 minutes into the second 45 minutes. Alvarez preparing to take this corner, out swinging, right delivery, that he goes short instead to Foden, to the corner of the penalty area for Bernardo Silva. Once more over to Kyle Walker, the captain of Manchester City this afternoon. Bernardo Silva, Alvarez, early delivery, Foden flicks it on, it's going to come loose to Bardiol, who digs under it. He wanted a centre forward there, maybe not a centre back, and over the bar it goes, 1-1.
It's a tough one when the ball's bouncing. I know you're going to mention Defenders Union again, but it's certainly a tough one. The ball's coming at you, bouncing. He just doesn't quite get over it, and it puts it over the top of the bar. But good opportunity, really good start from City the second half.
The Manchester City side that have won the most games of any visiting side here at the London Stadium. 6 wins for the Blues. West Ham haven't won at home against City since a 2-1 win at Upton Park in October 2014. Their only win in their last 13 home matches against Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola, who's sat down at the moment looking on at David Moyes, who's talking to his bench. Guardiola's never lost to David Moyes. 14 games as manager, winning 10, drawing 4. Bernardo Silva just on the edge of the penalty area, lays it back towards this near side, the right for Kyle Walker. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. Ward-Prowse with the opening header for West Ham before 50 seconds into the second half, Jeremy Doku has got his first Manchester City goal. He came with a big price tag, but he's scored a big goal, and now City look to build on that. Here's Walker. Foden, right corner of the penalty area. He'll just shift it onto his left foot, float it towards the back post where Doku was. Ball goes up in the air. Bernardo Silva's header is behind Erling Haaland, and Ward-Prowse can help it onto the midway point of the West Ham half, but between them, Manuel Akanji and Rodri can clear it up. Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1. Odsonne Edouard with the goal, and of course I took Odsonne Edouard out of my fantasy Premier League team this weekend, so that was bound to happen. Palace lead. They haven't got Roy Hodgson on the touchline today. He was taken ill before the kick-off. We of course wish him well. Here is Rodri, central position for City. Had a look up there like he might go for goal. He's pushed over by Edson Alvarez of West Ham, so free kick to the Blues, 30 yards out, central position. Stephen Corker.
I thought for a split second Rodri might have just lost the ball there, but no, the referee bails him out with the right decision. It was a foul on him. He's just so comfortable on the ball, so competent, just takes his time. I said he's so key for City in making them tick.
I did say Guardiola's never lost to David Moyes. That's it within 90 minutes. West Ham beat Manchester City here in the League Cup a couple of years ago. So free kick here to the Blues, central position, and a chance maybe to take the lead. There is a big West Ham wall in the way for well-built, heighty players. For Bernardo Silva or Julian Alvarez to get past first, then of course Areola stands a yard off his line, his feet planted shoulder width apart. Referee for this afternoon is Andrew Madley, blows his whistle. Will it be the right of Alvarez? It will. He goes for goal off the post, and it rebounds kindly for Alvarez of West Ham to clear it away. Well, Julian Alvarez of Manchester City fancied the right-footed effort. Areola was stretching, the woodwork saves him, and it's still 1-1.
What a free kick. Stood over that ball, I wasn't sure it was going to be him or Bernardo Silva, and wow, I never knew he had that in the locker, but what a free kick that was. Inches from Man City taking the lead.
Loves a home goal, Alvarez. 14 goals in 14 starts at the Etihad Stadium. It is only 2 in 14 away for the Argentine in Manchester City colours, but he won't come much closer than that. 7 minutes gone in the second half, 1-1. Elsewhere, early goals to tell you about. Blackpool 2-0 down against Wycombe now. That's in League One. Blackburn are now 2-0 up on the Championship bottom side. Middlesbrough. We'll go around our grounds in a moment, see how our local sides have started respectively. Here's Vardy, though, for Manchester City midway inside the West Ham half. City left to right in the second 45 as a little low ball along the turf is picked off. Rodri trying to find Alvarez. Rodri will get a second bite of this. Into Haaland! Brilliant parry away by Areola. Haaland acrobatically left-footed, volleyed that towards goal from 8 yards out. Chance not over yet, though. Here's Doku on the corner of the penalty area, far side for Manchester City, who are just pressuring that West Ham penalty area. Vardy again, edge of the D, out towards the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva's got a sprint on to keep it in. He can't. What about that chance for Erling Haaland, Stephen Culker?
Wow, what a ball there from Rodri. He just seems to flick it over the top of the West Ham defence. And Haaland, acrobatically, as you say, gets himself in a great position. Great hit, to be honest. It's a fantastic save. You know, we spoke earlier about the two that he missed. That, for me, that's not a miss. That's a great save. That's a top save, and what a goal it would have been.
Lovely dink up in the air by Rodri. Haaland acrobatically twists his body to swivel mid-air and connect with it left-footed, and then Areola in the air saves it well away towards his right-hand side. Exciting start to the second half. We've had 9 minutes here. City on the ball again. Lincoln City level against Carlisle in League One. 1-1 in that one. Here's Ruben Diaz midway inside West Ham's territory. Out towards the left, there is space there for Doku, who gets it on the touchline. Then he'll have a run, as he has done this afternoon against Sofal, but he's clicked in ball. He's picked off by Areola. It won't reach Haaland, and it remains 1-1.
Interesting there, Mike, if you see there was two players on Jeremy Doku, which was constant throughout the first half. So I don't know whether it was a lapse in concentration for that equaliser, Man City equaliser, but to leave Jeremy Doku one-on-one seems a very dangerous thing to do, and they've since learned their lesson and got two players on him.
Been an exciting start to the second half featuring Jeremy Doku. I haven't had a chance to run you through the two sides yet. West Ham, Areola in goal, Sofal, Zuma, Aguerd and Emerson as the back four. I'll complete the team in a minute because an early goal in the second half at Old Trafford, Robin Gray.
Grey skies over Old Trafford and it's all going wrong on the pitch. Manchester United 0, Brighton 2. Pascal Gross, who scored twice here last season, back to haunt them again. Played down the left from Mitoma. It came back to him on the edge of the D, sold the dummy to Lisandro Martinez and fired it past Onana into the back of the net. 53 minutes on the clock. Manchester United 0, Brighton 2.
Thanks, Robin. 0800 218 2255. Store that in your phone book now. That is BBC Radio Manchester's phone number. Let's hear from you after 5 o'clock. You can talk Sancho, you can talk Maguire, or maybe you just want to concentrate on the field matters. United 2-0 down against Brighton. It's the Seagulls flying high. 0800 218 2255 is that number again. So here 1-1, West Ham against Manchester City. Areola in goal for West Ham. Sofal, Zuma, Aguerd and Emerson are their back four. And Antonio is through here. He's past Diaz, but it's smothered by Edison. It's a big first touch from Antonio as he tried to race away down the middle past Diaz. He got in the box, but Edison reacted quicker, smothers the ball and spares Manchester City's blushes.
I've given Rodri a lot of plaudits this afternoon. Obviously, he's been fantastic with the ball. He did get caught there in possession, and you see West Ham's tactic once again for that very, very fast counter. Good defended by Diaz. He hasn't quite got the pace to match Antonio, but he kept with him and kept that pressure on, which allowed Edison to smother.
At the other end, Foden in the penalty area, right-hand side, back to Walker. Here is Rodri. He sees the gap, goes for goal and over the bar. So Ward-Prowse and Alvarez, Bowen, Paquetá and Souček and Antonio complete the West Ham lineup. Edison for Manchester City, Walker, Diaz, Akanji, Vardy the back line, Rodri and Bernardo in midfield. Doku, Alvarez and Foden sit just behind Erling Haaland. 12 second half minutes gone. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. What about Reading and Bolton? Jack Dearden.
Wanderers still leading by 1-0, but another chance has gone begging. Dion Charles just arriving at the far post after wonderful work from Dempsey. So close to adding a second goal, which if that comes, you would suggest that Wanderers would go on to win it. As it is, Bolton are leading by 1-0.
Jack, thank you. What about Wigan at home to Cambridge? Gaz Drinkwater.
Still 0-0 here at the DW. Wigan just slightly losing their way in this second half. Lots of sloppy passing, especially in the final third. So Cambridge seeing a lot of the ball, but no chances so far in the first 10 minutes of the second half. 0-0.
Wimbledon have conceded against Crewe. They still lead 2-1 though, as Blackburn have conceded against Middlesbrough. So 2-1 at Ewood Park as well. Doku down the left-hand side. Tried the low cross in. Space again on the left for Jeremy Doku. Corner this time to Manchester City.
Yeah, lovely 1-2 there between Doku and Rodri. Finds himself in a bit of space. Tries to put it across the front post for Haaland there to get across. But good defending by West Ham. Another set piece for City.
On that far side, City's left. Foden goes short with the corner and Bowen intercepts it before it even reaches Alvarez. It's another poor corner from Phil Foden, not for the first time in this game. We've played 13 minutes. It is 1-1. We will go to Wigan in a moment. There's been a goal. We've got to Stockport as well and get a check in with Alex Whittington. But here is Bernardo Silva. Left-footed curling. Haaland with the header. And Areola with the save right on the line. Jumped up in the air. A little skip from the goalkeeper. Caught it well. 1-1 here then. Goal and deadlock broken at the DW Stadium. Gaz Drinkwater.
Delightful goal from Stephen Humphreys for Wigan Athletic on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. He's beaten his man right on the edge of the box. Left-footed curling effort into the far corner. Wigan lead 1-0.
And to Stadium MK then, where Stockport are taking on MK Dons. Alex Whittington.
And County still lead 2-1, Mike, but another injury blow as goal scorer Nick Powell has just left the pitch after picking up a knock. Salford Loney, Odin Bailey on in his place, moving to the left of a midfield diamond with Sarcevic in the 10 role. The Hatters 2-1 ahead then with 55 minutes played.
Thanks, Alex. Rochdale lead Barnet 3-1 in the National League as well. To keep you up to date on Total Sport, BBC Radio Manchester. Antonio on the chest, wants to lay it in. Here's a chance for West Ham, you know. And just wide of the right-hand post. I think it's Emerson, the left-back, got forward there. Not often he gets such opportunities. Tried to guide it into the far corner. Couldn't quite, but West Ham have won themselves a corner. Stephen Colker.
Great defender there by Akanji. Last ditch sliding tackle there. Just got enough on it to put him off, and it's gone out for a West Ham corner, which as we know, the danger is far from over when you've got James Ward-Prowse standing over the ball.
If he didn't make that challenge at Kanji, then Emerson's pulling the trigger, no doubt about that. The Italian in his second season now here at the London Stadium. On the hour mark, 1-1, West Ham have a corner on the far side. Only one man ever going to take it. That's James Ward-Prowse, who has scored West Ham's goal in this game. He stands on the far side, out-swinging delivery, right-footed, in it goes, header. Oh, saved brilliantly by Ederson. Zuma rose highest on the edge of the 6-yard box. Ederson with a lovely springing save over to his left-hand side. It's another corner, but it's a massive save.
What an incredible save that was. Great header, great delivery, great header. What a reaction there. You know, a lot of teams usually have players on the post. City have got no one on the post. And Ederson, great save.
Another corner from Ward-Prowse. Another out-swinging delivery. This one headed away by Manchester City, who will now want to go on the counter-attack with Foden, flicking it onto Alvarez. He knocks it down with his header. Here's the pace of Doku. Perfectly timed challenge by Jarrod Bowen, who gets the ball first, man after. And that's got the West Ham fans going. And it's got Manchester City rethinking. West Ham here going to make a double substitution in a minute with Said Benrahma, who was the only change for this game from their previous one, about to come on. And Mohamed Kudus as well for David Moyes' side. What a tie, what a Premier League game we have. It was second v first as we came into the day. Yes, Liverpool went top with a 3-1 win over Wolves earlier, but it is top quality now.
It is. It's end to end. The crowd are on their feet. It's an exciting game. This next goal is going to be crucial. You see again, Doku coming here from the left-hand side. He's been such a threat, such a presence.
That one rolled infield on the edge of the penalty area to Alvarez. This is Kyle Walker right-footed. 25, 30 yards from the West Ham goal. To the near side he comes, Phil Foden. That's Manchester City's right. Foden, who played a lot of the first half centrally, is very much out on this wing for now. 1-1 the score with 62 minutes played. Don't go anywhere, and if you are about to go somewhere, you can take us with you on Total Sport this afternoon. Just get the BBC Sounds app, find BBC Radio Manchester, or listen on the BBC Sport website and app. We are with you anywhere in the UK today for this bumper tie that is providing quite the drama so far. 1-1. Sofal on the right-hand side. Little strip of sunshine on that far side of the London Stadium where we are. We're well away from the pitch. The viewing angle is good, though, as Emerson makes another run down the middle. West Ham use Paquetá on the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva just tracking him for now. West Ham in those predominantly claret shirts. Win a free kick. Paquetá pushed over by Bernardo Silva. Free kick.
So interesting, Mike, watching the two different approaches. You know, the managers, two top managers have been extremely successful both in England and in Europe, and I'm just watching here two such different approaches to the game. Man City, they'll pass and pass and pass, they'll break the lines. West Ham very happy to let Man City pass the ball around, just waiting for that set piece opportunity or that breaking play to get that counter attack.
It is in a way a European Super Cup, isn't it, with the Champions League winners taking on the Europa Conference League winners here today. Manchester City are going to bring on Matheus Nunes in a minute as well. Pep Guardiola is down there talking to him inside the technical area. We'll wait to see who that's for. Before that, West Ham free kick here. Ward-Prowse right-footed, swings it in dangerously. Walker hooks a boot around it and does brilliantly there actually to clear it away from the penalty area. West Ham try and keep the ball alive down the left-hand side. Antonio spins well to face goalwards. He gets towards the byline. Alvarez is with him in at the near post. Akanji heads it away. Where's it dropping to? Almost on the penalty spot. Sofal and Doku. Another interesting battle, this time defensively for the Belgian and Manchester City. He's pulled down. Free kick. We're off to the DW Stadium where there's another goal. Gareth Drinkwater.
Thelo Asgard back in the Wigan team and back amongst the goals as well. Great play from young Martial Godo on his debut on the left-hand side. Cut round the defender in the box, played it along the 6-yard box, and Asgard was there, controlled it well, and then had to finish with his left foot. 2-0 with 62 minutes on the clock.
Good news for Wigan. They needed that after a couple of defeats. It will take them further away from the relegation zone in League One. Here's Rodri. Square passes from Manchester City. It went to Walker, to the Spaniard. Now it's with Vardiol. And again, this time, though, to the right Rodri plays a pacey ball through. Here's Alvarez in the box. Can he find this space to get a shot away? No, he squares it instead as he pulls away from the penalty area to find Walker. Centrally, though, Rodri out towards the left now for Vardiol. Got Doku one over on him, and that's where he goes. Doku doesn't want to take on Sofal on this occasion. Vardiol with the shot. Areola with another brilliant save. It's another Manchester City corner on this near side. The goalkeepers of both sides are having absolute worldies out there this afternoon.
What a save. What an unbelievable save yet again. Both keepers, as you mentioned there, are keeping their sides in the game. I would say City is slightly on top this second half. They're certainly looking the team that's going to cause the most problems, and here we go again.
Short corner, Bernardo Silva and Foden couldn't really get what they wanted on that. West Ham able to clear it. Has it stayed in play? No. Manchester City free kick. What's gone on elsewhere then in the Premier League? Fulham now lead winless and pointless Luton by a goal to nil. Carlos Vinicius with that. Oxford lead Fleetwood 3-0 in League One. Accrington 2 upon Sutton. Plymouth have a goal back 2-1, though they trail against Preston in the Championship. Here come the West Ham substitutes, by the way. Michail Antonio is going to be replaced by Mohamed Kudus. He moved 5 days before the window closed. Came off the bench against Luton for his debut. He's done the same again this afternoon against Manchester City. Also coming off Thomas Souček, who'll be replaced by Saeed Benrahma. And for Manchester City, it is Phil Foden who's going to be replaced by Matheus Nunes.
Yeah, he's had a fairly quiet afternoon. He's found himself in a couple of pockets once or twice, but he's not performed as we know he can. But again, he may be a little bit fatigued. A lot of the boys come back from international duty. It's a tough ask. These boys are playing week in, week out. So to remain at that level and be consistent is a tough ask. And I'd say against a very resilient West Ham side. And I'm just watching them there. At times they've got 6 at the back. They're playing 6-3-1 at times out of possession.
And it will be no stranger to Manchester City, such formation, particularly, well, home and away. I was going to say more away from home, but actually they face it a lot at the Etihad Stadium. What they have to do is find a route through on goal. 67 minutes played. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. Let's get a full check round our grounds, shall we? We'll start at Old Trafford. United against Brighton. This is Robin Gray.
Manchester United 0, Brighton 2. Free kick for Manchester United. Huge boos ringing around Old Trafford just a few moments ago as Erik ten Hag brought off Rasmus Højlund and brought on Anthony Martial. It was deafening, the United fans' anger at the decision. Hannibal's also on for Casemiro as United have 25 minutes to try and salvage this game. They're behind by 2-0.
Thanks, Robin. Edson Alvarez receiving some treatment hobbling off the pitch, so that gives us a chance to go to formerly known as the Medeski Stadium. Reading Bolton, Phil Browns alongside Jack Dearden.
Still 1-0 to Bolton Wanderers. You do sense, though, Phil Brown, that Bolton need a second goal here, and they've had so many opportunities to put the game to bed.
They always play an open game, Bolton, and you never know when the game's dead and buried. They've kept Reading's interest all the way through the first half and the second half without killing it off. They need a second goal, Jack. If they don't, they might lose 2 points.
Wanderers still leading 1-0.
Jack and Phil, thank you very much. Here, Manchester City are in the penalty area with a crossing towards Nunes, whose nearly first touch could have resulted in a goal there, but couldn't quite adjust his body quick enough to get purchase on the shot. Away it goes out for a throw-in on the far side.
Just expecting Haaland to nick in front of Zuma there. As I mentioned in the first half, he's just looking a little bit tired in his legs. He's not as quite as sharp as he usually is. Having said that, there's still 22 minutes plus stoppage to go, and never ever write him off.
Doku is past Sofal on the left-hand side for City, but as he checked back inside on the edge of the penalty area, the challenge came in from Kudus, and West Ham managed to clear the ball. Jared Bowen the furthest forward. Akanji across to cover the ball down the far side, West Ham's right, and back it goes towards Edison. So Wigan 2-0 up on Cambridge. Any sign of a third for them, Gareth Drinkwater?
No, but Wigan are definitely in control of this game, keeping possession really well. Cambridge United being limited massively by the home side. They've not really been able to create a big chance for themselves all games. Wigan have had plenty and scored 2 in 5 minutes earlier on in this second half, and that really should be enough. Wigan 2, Cambridge United 0.
West Ham conceded the throw-in on this near side, but deep inside Manchester City's final third. So throw into the Blues near side there. Right, let's check in at Stadium MK. Stockport leading the last we heard, Alex Whittington.
They still are, Mike. They almost got 2 goals between themselves and MK Dons, but for the left palm of Craig McGillivray denying Odin Bailey a first goal for Stockport. Superb save, diving away to his left-hand side. County piling on the pressure. 25 minutes left to go. They lead MK Dons 2-1.
Alex, thank you very much. Latest in the Premier League, then Aston Villa trail Crystal Palace by 1-0. Fulham 1 up on Luton. As we've been hearing with Robin Gray, Manchester United 0, Brighton 2. Tottenham and Sheffield United is still goalless, perhaps raising a few eyebrows on that one. Newcastle Brentford from 5:30. Earlier today, Liverpool beat Wolves 3-1 at Molineux. Here at the London Stadium in your Total Sport commentary, it is West Ham 1, Manchester City 1, and we've got an enthralling, almost uncallable last 20 minutes to go. Unpredictable may have been a better word there. Throwing on the far side to West Ham, midway inside their own half. Do you expect much to change, Stephen Colker, or is it very much just more of the same? City will wear them down eventually.
I can't see much changing. I think City are on top slightly out of the two sides, but West Ham are very comfortable under this pressure. They seem very, very comfortable to allow City to come more and more forward, because they are just waiting for that one lapse in concentration, that one mistake. And West Ham, as we saw in the first half, will and can and will punish Man City.
As Bernardo Silva wants to try and punish West Ham on this near side, the right, lays it back, has Nunez in support. He's got to do the short and simple stuff better, says Pep Guardiola about Matheus Nunez, but give him a season under the Spaniard and we know how much players can change. Here's another one who'll relish his first season under Pep Guardiola, Jeremy Doku. He's got Manchester City's goal this afternoon. Manuel Akanji has the ball at the moment, midway inside the West Ham half and in a central position. Nunez, the Portuguese international, took the shirt number of another Portuguese international in João Cancelo. Walker back to Akanji. Cancelo on loan at Barcelona. A deadline day deal. Here is Ruben Diaz. Manchester City's furthest man back is Rodri. He's midway inside the West Ham half in terms of outfield players. Haaland's trying to make a nuisance of himself on the edge of the box. He loses the ball. Kudus runs out towards the far side. West Ham have that space again, but the ball out towards Said Benrahma on the left is poor, and it just allows Walker enough time to recover.
Yeah, you can see once again West Ham looking for that counter-attack. I actually feel City were a little lucky there that the switch of play wasn't great.
Doku in the penalty area, left-hand side, looking for Haaland. Low ball in the penalty area, away. I think Agad was in there this time. Another West Ham player that's been linked to Manchester City in the past. Rodri down the middle. Haaland is going to try and hold off Agad on this occasion, or send it through to Alvarez, but he can't. Now West Ham race away on this near side with Said Benrahma. Walker is trying to stay with him. Walker reads it brilliantly. And the ball runs away into the hands of Ederson.
And then you asked me the question before the game today about Kyle Walker. Can he still do it at 33? Just look at him there. His pace, he's so comfortable. He just invites Benrahma to take him on, wins the tackle comfortably, and now Man City back with the ball.
Yeah, down the left and looking attackingly threatening as well. It is Alvarez. Looks for Haaland. Here's Nunez. Heavy touch off the shins of Jeremy Doku. There has been a third goal at Old Trafford. This could be massive. Robin Gray.
And Manchester United fans are heading for the exits, Mike. It's Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 3. Work from Matoma down left again, just where the second goal came from. And João Pedro pounced to put it into the top corner of the net from the edge of the area. Huge boos, huge, and fierce anger from these United supporters on what have been an awful couple of weeks, getting a whole lot worse on the pitch. Manchester United 0, Brighton 3.
I'm told 3 seats down from me there's a Manchester United fan who will probably favour that he's at the London Stadium today and not at Old Trafford. West Ham 1-1 here with Manchester City. A much tighter game, a much closer game. But goodness me, that leaves the phone lines open for you on Total Sport from 5 o'clock. Robin Gray is at Old Trafford. 0800 218 2255. Could be problems here for City as the ball goes in low from the right-hand side. It was Sofal making his way down the wing. the cross in, couldn't find another claret shirt, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah. Do you know what? I want to give credit where credit's due. Vladimir Safal, this second half, his last 10-15 minutes of the second half, he's been really good. He's been aggressive. He's got in Jeremy Doku's face. He's not allowed him that time that he gave him in the first half, or gave him for that goal in the opening patch of the second half. He's been really good, and as a defender, that's difficult. When you're not having the best of games and your opponent beating you time and time again, it's not easy to then refine that confidence to go and challenge your opponent. But he's done really well.
There's a fourth at Old Trafford, Robin Gray.
And it's gone to Manchester United. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Hannibal, who spent last season at Birmingham City, coming on, driving a shot from the edge of the area into the right-hand corner of the net. Could they pull it off? They've got 17 minutes to do so, Manchester United. They're behind 3-1.
And it's in from Bernardo Silva. And Manchester City lead here at the London Stadium. He dinks it over the top. Haaland lets it roll in over the goal line. And Bernardo Silva scores for Manchester City, who have turned it around against West Ham and are heading back to the top of the Premier League, and as it stands will make it 5 wins from 5. West Ham United 1, Manchester City 2.
City are just so dominant. They just keep going and going and going. Great little ball there. I believe it was from Alvarez over the top. Bernardo Silva, mistake there. Great little finish. And Haaland misses the ball. He doesn't let that go. I believe he actually misses the ball. We'll have to watch the replay here. As that ball's trickling up, I don't know if he decides late to let it go, or I think he misses it.
Well, Alvarez has scooped it over the top. Bernardo Silva lets it bounce on the edge of the 6-yard box, then hooks his outside of his left boot in. I just wonder whether Erling Haaland questions if he's offside, maybe, and therefore if he touches it, you get a big VAR review. Whereas if he doesn't, the ball's past the goalkeeper and it's in the back of the net, and City lead 2-1.
We'll go with that, Mike. He's a top goal scorer. I'm sure he knows what he's doing in and around the 6-yard box. It was a change. It was the moment he just changed his foot and pulled his foot away. But nonetheless, 2-1 Man City, and well deserved.
Penalty at the DW Stadium. Gaz Drinkwater.
Yeah, Cambridge United with the penalty certainly was. Coming in from the right-hand side was James Brophy, brought down to the ground. It took the referee a while, then eventually did give it to the away side. So a potential chance for Cambridge United to get back into the game here. They've not really deserved it based on their performance so far at the DW. Wigan 2-0 up and in control, but they could make it 2-1 here, and they have done. Cambridge United penalty dispatched. Okana Berhe off the bench has scored for the away side. They'll need to improve from here if they're going to get something from it, though. It's 2-1 to Wigan.
Thanks, Gaz. So, to keep you up to date locally then, here Manchester City have turned it around against West Ham. They lead 2-1 courtesy of Bernardo Silva at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. They have around about quarter of an hour to save themselves at Old Trafford before. Well, I can only imagine how angry Manchester United fans will be over what's gone on this week and more on the pitch. 0800 218 2255 is the phone-in number you need on Total Sport. Stephen Kulka with us till 6 o'clock, as is Phil Brown, and Robin Gray is at Old Trafford to take you through till 6. Reading trail Bolton by a goal to 0 in League One. Wigan now 2-1 up only on Cambridge after leading 2-0, and Stockport leading away at MK Dons. 12 minutes left. Manchester City with an impeccable record here in the league against West Ham. 6 wins out of 6. Are now looking to make it 7 from 7. Here is Walker to Julian Alvarez, whose ball over the top to lift it over the defence to set through Bernardo Silva for that second goal. Stephen Kulka was a sublime little bit of invention.
Such a great little ball, such clever play. I mean, West Ham, as we've spoken about, have got 6 at the back at times, 3 sitting just in front of them, and Antonio up front. You know, when to find space and to find gaps is not easy, as Phil Foden discovered. You know, they kept him fairly quiet for the 60-65 minutes that he played. That ball over the top there, just something different, and it really troubled West Ham. They've made a mistake. Admittedly, they made a mistake. The centre-half's gone for the header and just missed it, but great finish. When you're playing at this level, teams like Man City will punish you.
Well, Manchester City, Manuel Akanji was down for a moment. Referee stopped play. Akanji received treatment. So, to fill you in elsewhere, Championship, Huddersfield 2, Rotherham 0. Barrow equalised 1-1 against Newport now. Crawley 2-2 with Tranmere. Barnsley leading Burton in League 1 2-0. Exeter leading Cheltenham 1-0. Sheffield United have taken the lead against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Spurs going well under Ange Postecoglou. He won Manager of the Month. Maybe it's a curse. Sheffield United lead 1-0, looking for their first win of the season. Where else are we going? Shrewsbury 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Bradford trailing Harrogate 1-0 to pile the pressure on Mark Hughes there. And as we've just heard as well, Okunabiri's penalty has put Cambridge within a goal of parity against Wigan. So we are live from the London Stadium. West Ham 1, Manchester City 2 in the Premier League this Saturday afternoon. The Blues host Forest next weekend. Another game we'll bring you live on BBC Radio Manchester. Poor touch from Nunez just allows West Ham to take possession inside their own half on this near side. Thomas Souček getting involved. Here's Emerson, lays it on through for Paquetá, who goes down and wins a free kick 10 yards inside the Manchester City half out on this left-hand side.
You mentioned Pep recovering from his back operation at a slow pace, taking it easy today. You just see him there running to the edge of his technical box there to give information to his team. You know, with 10 minutes left on the clock plus stoppage, he doesn't want them giving away free kicks to give West Ham a chance for James Ward-Prowse to whip it in.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yesterday in his press conference, he said slowly, step by step in his own recovery. And that was more of a quick step from Pep Guardiola there, as Vardiol just side foots it nicely into the path of Alvarez. Ball work back to Edison inside the Manchester City penalty area, away to our left-hand side. We've played 81 minutes, City left to right in this second half. The cheering and chanting you can hear is coming from the Manchester City fans, tucked away in the right-hand corner of this huge arena, the former Olympic Stadium, of course. And Walker has got the pace down the right-hand side. Can he find Haaland? Yes, he can. But Alphonse Areola can make the save as well. It was straight at him, but he still had to make sure that the ball didn't fly past him. And Haaland, desperate for a goal, over a year on from where it all began in the Premier League for him, just cannot find a route through this afternoon. What's that chance? Big chance number 4. Straight at the goalkeeper. Walker did brilliantly down the right. Haaland waiting and waiting on the penalty spot. Side foot volley is at the goalkeeper. It's still West Ham 1, City 2.
Yeah, Haaland's desperate for that goal. He's missed those 2 chances first half. Second half, he's had a few more chances.
Then Rama low crossing from the left, and Edison gets there ahead of Jared Bowen inside the 6-yard box. A second goal at Reading, and this could be a big one. Is it Bolton or is it Reading? Jack Dearden.
Charlie Savage with an equaliser from 20 yards in off the near post. And Phil Brown, you said earlier, that is the danger. That is what happens. Bolton have created and squandered so many opportunities, and now they've been pegged back at 1-1.
Well, it could have been 2 points drop, but it can actually be 3 points drop if they don't watch themselves. I mean, it's come early enough with 77 minutes on the clock. Where Savage has got his left foot from, he certainly hasn't got it from his dad, Robbie.
1-1.
Jack, Phil, thank you very much. More from Phil Brown at full time as well in the phone in on Total Sport. 0800 218 2255 is the number you need. The phone lines are open now. You can book your call. We'll call you straight away as soon as we're done here at the London Stadium, and the verdict for you starts anyway. Here's Edison on the edge of his own penalty area. Love to hear what you've got to say. So many stories for Manchester City, playing well, but took their time to turn it around against West Ham. It's that period now after the international break where we really see perhaps what teams are made of. Walker's shirt's being pulled there by Saeed Benrahma. Referee Andrew Madley allows play to continue. Wrexham 3 up on Grimsby. Bernardo Silva, the difference at the moment between the two sides. In on the right-hand side, lays it into Nunez. Here is Kyle Walker. West Ham also looks like bring on another substitute in just a moment. Here's Akanji inside the centre circle. In fact, they're going to make a double substitution. We'll find out who in a second. Here is Doku on the left-hand touchline. We'll lay it back towards the halfway line.
There's no team better at keeping the ball. There's no team in the Premier League that's better at keeping the ball. Brighton are up there, but with City's quality, there is no team that, from a West Ham's perspective, that you want keeping the ball, running down the clock.
Haaland, left-hand side, the angle will be too tight. He'll hold it up on the byline to Doku, who got City's equaliser this afternoon. Still not done here for Manchester City, as Vardiol is fouled, and will upset the West Ham fans, but I think it's probably the right call. Free kick to City on the far side.
Yeah, it's the right call. Good movement there from Haaland, actually, to get in down the left-hand side and play it back and keep the ball, as I mentioned, but just before that attack, that, you know, City are the best in the league at keeping the ball. You know, they're running down the clock. West Ham are still fairly deep. I would expect them to come out a little bit more. We're obviously 5 minutes to go plus stoppage and to try and chase that equaliser, but he's making the substitutions now. Maybe now we would see a little bit more of a forward threat from West Ham.
Attilo Kehrer is going to come on for West Ham, as is Danny Ings in a moment. £12 million signing last January from Aston Villa. Just 2 Premier League goals in his West Ham spell so far. The former Burnley, Southampton, Liverpool and Aston Villa man. Here is Doku in on the left. Another goal would really seal it for Manchester City. 3 important points on the road, but West Ham have shown some quality at times, and with 5 minutes left and just 1 goal in it, you know it's not over just yet, as Akanji sends it back to Edison. A breeze whips around the London Stadium that is covered in shade on the pitch. Sunshine shining on the fans on the far side of the ground. Blue skies here in East London. Is a warm day, 20+ degrees. Manchester City leading this one 2-1 on Total Sport. Referee is nutmegged by the ball. He steps over it. Bernardo Silva in on the right hand side here. 4 white shirts forward for City. Can he find the right pass? This is Haaland. That is 3 goals. That is 3 points for Manchester City. And Erling Haaland on the ground, where he got his very first Premier League goal for Manchester City, gets his 42nd in 39 games. Lethal finish into the right hand side. And that'll do for Manchester City. West Ham 1, Manchester City 3.
It's what the best of the best do. Chance after chance he's missed this afternoon, but he keeps on going, and he made absolutely no mistake that time. Great run there from Silva. Started actually with great play from City, playing out from the back. Ball's got played into Alvarez. Great turn. Referee actually gets in his way. Still manages to find Bernardo Silva out wide. Cuts in, gives it to Haaland, and a very, very cool finish into the bottom right.
Never write him off as Manchester City stream forward. West Ham were chasing the equaliser. 4 white shirts against 2 defenders. Bernardo Silva had to find the right pass. The right pass is always Erling Haaland, isn't it?
Absolutely, but it's just amazing. It's such a joy to watch clever players like Bernardo Silva. When he receives that ball, his first thought is run inside, commit the defender. He creates problems as a defender. If I'm a West Ham centre half there, and I've got Bernardo Silva run at me, I have to make a commitment one way or the other. As soon as you make that commitment, he plays the ball into Erling Haaland, and as we said, he makes no mistake this time.
Well, plenty of empty seats now at the London Stadium. West Ham fans streaming for the exits. I bet there's plenty of seats empty at Old Trafford, Robin Gray.
There are a few, Mike, but many came running back in after Hannibal's first goal for Manchester United, giving them some hope. Eric Ten Hag's thrown on Pelistri, Garnacho and Wan-Bissaka in search of a grandstand finish, but it's with 4 minutes left. It's still Manchester United 1, Brighton 3.
Bolton are chasing a winner late on at Reading, Jack Dearden.
And so Reading, Mike, at the moment, they're probably in the ascendancy. Bolton have had to take off Dion Charles, who got that goal to put them in front. So many chances missed by Bolton today, but they're still battling away. 1-1.
It's tight at the DW Stadium. Wigan, Cambridge, Gaz Drinkwater.
Wigan just need to avoid doing what they have done in the last 2 games and can't concede late here. They've got 4 more minutes to hold on against Cambridge United, but they have been in control today. Wigan 2, Cambridge 1.
And Stockport holding on at MK Dons, Alex Whittington.
They are, Mike, still ahead 2-1, but the Dons piling on the pressure. Ben Hinchliffe flying to his left to save from Jack Payne's drive. County being pushed further and further back. With 6 minutes left, they still lead 2-1.
Just over 90 seconds remain here, thanks Alex. West Ham trailing Manchester City 3-1. 0800 218 2255 to have your say. Manchester City fans on BBC Radio Manchester. West Ham here have a free kick. Midway inside the City half, right of centre. They're going to bring on Manchester City for the final few moments. Sergio Gomez, he's going to replace Jeremy Doku, who within 52nd half seconds got City level, but the goal is something. His performance this afternoon, Stephen Corker.
Yeah, he's been my man of the match. He's been outstanding from the first minute of the first half, where he's cutting inside, he's taking players on. Top performance, really well deserved round of applause from the City fans. And I'd have to give another special mention to Carl Walker. I'm just watching him there take on that midfield role as you know, Pep often asks of his defenders to step in and play in that midfield. He's in there playing like he's always played there. I played him as a youth team player, and he certainly wasn't as good on the ball as he is now.
Free kick goes in from Ward-Prowse, header up and over by Aguerd of West Ham into the final 30 seconds. Elsewhere, late goals going in. Port Vale might have won it against Northampton in League 2, 1-0 up there. Forest Green equalised late on against winless Doncaster, 1-1. Swindon 2 up on Walsall. Derby have scored late, big game at the top of League 1. Well, for promotion hopefuls anyway. Derby 1, Portsmouth 0, the latest score there. Still 3-1 to Brighton at Old Trafford, where United are losing. Reading and Bolton 1 apiece. Wigan leading Cambridge 2-1 locally as well, and Stockport leading 2-1 at MK Dons this afternoon. The phone line's open on 0800 218 2255. There will be 6 added minutes here at the London Stadium for stoppages, substitutions and goals. But the afternoon looks like it is wrapped up in Manchester City's favour. They've had to do it all in the second half, and West Ham's resilience finally broken down.
Yeah, finally broken down. And what's interesting for me is that third goal came as a result of the first time West Ham have decided to press a little higher. And I said, Walker's got himself in that hole there, and is that sitting midfield role / right back, and he's got the ball, fed it into Alvarez, and the space was behind. So you can understand very clearly from that moment why David Moyes decided to sit back today and wait for the counter-attack. And they were close to pulling off, Mike.
They had City worried when Ward-Prowse gave them a 1-0 half-time lead, as West Ham now look to try and make it a little bit nervy in the final 6 minutes. We've had the first of those 6 minutes of stoppage time. Sunderland have a third at home, away at QPR now in the Championship. 3-1, Swindon 2 up on Walsall. Aston Villa have equalised in the Premier League at home to Crystal Palace. So 1-1 in that game there. Still Spurs trailing Sheffield United by a goal to 0. Earlier today, Liverpool beat Wolves at Molineux. Later, Newcastle against Brentford to come from St James's Park. This could be big. We're going to Reading. There's been a goal. Which way, Jack Dearden?
Reading 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. Wanderers, their own worst enemies, time after time, opportunity after opportunity not taken, and they've squandered a goal to Reading, who've pounded it into the back of the net, and with less than 5 on the clock, Reading lead by 2 goals to 1.
Bolton fans, 0800 218 2255 is the number you need. Phil Brown's been watching that game today as well. We'll try and bring you Ian Evatt before 6 o'clock as well. During Total Sports phoning with Robin Gray, who's live from Old Trafford. I'm expecting a lot of United fans tonight to have their say. And Stephen Corker, who spoke in the build-up about Harry Maguire and Jadon Sancho and the impact that's had off the field at United. Maybe they need to look on the field as well, as Manchester City come up towards the halfway line. They lead 2-1 here, 3-1 here at the London Stadium. Rico Lewis and Nathan Ake are going to come on for the final few moments. 3.5 minutes remain of the 6 minutes that were added on. Sky Blues skies for Manchester City, and the Sky Blues City fans have a chant. And City win, United lose. And I think that song might be sung as they head for their coaches and trains back to Manchester this evening. Here's Bernardo Silva, Kanji in his own half, and chip back towards Edison, who can take it on the chest. It's showboat time from Manchester City.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is moments to enjoy as a footballer, where you're winning the game 3-1. West Ham are tired. You can see that there. Haaland's coming to life here. Actually, he's got more energy as the game goes on, it seems. I'd mentioned first half him being tired. Second half, he looks a lot sharper, and another good running behind there, forcing West Ham to put it out for a throw.
So Nathan Ake will replace Joško Vardiol. Rico Lewis is also going to come on for Manchester City and replace Erling Haaland, who's got the third goal to put daylight between Manchester City and West Ham this afternoon. 3-1 up, well taken finish. He had plenty of chances beforehand, Erling Haaland. Also coming on Oscar Bobb of Manchester City as well. He's going to get a few minutes experience in his legs with the game done now. Let's head back to Old Trafford. Are United going to make it late and great, or is it all done, Robin Gray?
It looks like it's all done. We've got 4 minutes left of the added 6, Mike. Brighton just winding the clock down, as Stephen was talking about how good they are at keeping possession. They're showing it here. 3-1 they lead at Old Trafford, and there's going to be some reaction here at full time.
Bolton chasing an equaliser now against Reading, having led, Jack Dearden.
Yes, and they're just about to bring on Bodvarsson. He's replaced Josh Sheehan, but they're really in the final moments here. Less than 2 minutes of the normal 90. Reading in front by 2-1.
Reading lead 2-1, maybe. If you were with us for the first half, Reading fans in protest threw tennis balls onto the pitch to stop play temporarily. Wigan against Cambridge, tight there. Wigan leading by a goal, the last we heard. Gaz Drinkwater.
Yeah, they're still 2-1 up with 4 minutes of the 6 minutes added on to go. Cambridge are throwing everything at this, causing problems from set pieces. They've had some big blocks from the Wigan defence which have prevented them getting an equaliser late on in this game, but Wigan still hanging on. It's Wigan 2, Cambridge 1.
West Ham free kick inside their own half. How's Stockport getting on, Alex Whittington?
Still 2-1 they lead, Mike, and 6 minutes added on here at Stadium MK, and what would be another massive 3 points on the road for Dave Chandler's side that beat Wimbledon by this scoreline last week. Can they cling on and do the same again today?
Stephen Cooker was there at Plough Lane last weekend. You can have your say with him if you're a Stockport fan. Do you feel momentum is slowly building on 0800 218 2255 all over at Craven Cottage, where Fulham have beaten Luton by 1-0? Into the final minute here at the London Stadium. West Ham 1, Manchester City 3. Doku, Bernardo and Erling Haaland all on the score sheet. Here is Bob down the right hand side, loves to take players on, and he's tripped in doing so down the right as he got close to the penalty area. He's fouled, free kick, and Paquetá goes into the book.
Yeah, really good play from the youngster there, just getting the ball and driving at players. I love to see it. I mean, as a defender, I was hated to be on the other side of it, but as a spectator now, it's really nice to watch, especially young players getting on the ball, full of confidence, driving at defenders and forcing them to commit one way or the other. Interestingly, Mike, not to see Calvin Phillips make a little appearance today. I thought he did really well during the week, and I was half expecting him to come on this evening.
And Pep Guardiola was asked that yesterday in his press conference and said he was equally impressed, but you're right, still no break for Rodri. Perhaps we're over the 6 minutes that were added on. City free kick, which they take short. Referee checks his watch, blows his whistle. It's a happy trip to the capital for Manchester City, who perhaps didn't have it all their own way in this game when James Ward-Prowse gave West Ham a 1-0 half-time lead with a diving header. But it didn't take City long to reset after the second half. Restart. Within 50 seconds, Jeremy Doku had given Manchester City an equaliser. They were patient then with Bernardo Silva, who got their second, lifting it over Areola for 2-1. And Erling Haaland finished it off with his 42nd Premier League goal. Not bad at all, eh? Started here just over a year ago, and he continues to break records all the time. It's finished here with City going back to the top of the Premier League. They've beaten West Ham 3-1.
Mike, thank you very much. We're into the final minute, the added 6 at Old Trafford.